Hello everyone, this is John Marshall, the DrillMaster, with a critique video and an introduction video, and maybe an expansion of your understanding of what military drill and ceremonies is, as far as exhibition drill is concerned. See, in America we have exhibition drill, military exhibition drill, and there are two types. There's the standard exhibition drill that I call it, and then there's also ceremonial exhibition drill. And the standard exhibition drill is an outcropping or it's scholastically influenced. Scholastically influenced means that it's mostly junior ROTC and senior ROTC, but overwhelmingly the majority is junior ROTC drill teams. So, but there still are some senior ROTC college level drill teams out there, and there have been since the 1950s or before. Hold on. I need to turn on my studio lights. That's better. All right. So we have the two types of exhibition drill here in America. And now I'm going to first let me get into this. This is brought to you by my two books, Exhibition Drill for the Military Drill Team, and also Exhibition Drill for the Military Drill Team, Volume 2. I'll link those in the notes below. So here, what do we have? We have the Vanguard rifle drill team from Taiwan. Actually, in their language, in Chinese, it actually translates into Vanguard gun drill team, but that doesn't communicate well in English. So I'm going to thumb this up. Why anybody would thumb this down, I have no idea. This is a great performance. So, give you full disclosure here. I've already made this video, but I didn't record it because I accidentally clicked stop recording. And so I talked for however long it was after halting the recording at 2 seconds. So, yep, I'm recording. Okay, good. That works. All right, so this is the most recent performance, as far as I know, March 15th, 2020, of the Vanguard Rifle Drill Team. Now, I know that most of my viewers are Americans and that most of the American viewers are actually high school age, and that's fine. That's not a big deal. But what I'd like to do is introduce you to the Taiwan standard, and also exhibition drill performed to music. So then we incorporate now a concept called visual musicality. And I don't have my my second. Let me turn that back on. Oh, that's better. I don't have my second camera hooked up because I had to switch computers here. But what I'm going to be doing is I'll hold these up here. Hey, that's not too bad. So what I did years ago is I created the World Drill Association adjudication system, and I'll be using these score sheets today to, as an example, to give a quick critique of the performance. Now, the video is 19 minutes long. I am not going to talk throughout the 19 minutes. I'm not going to watch the entire 19 minutes. I'm going to skip through a couple of places here and there. I mean, my talking is probably going to last a little while, but I'm not going to talk for over a 19-minute video, which could bring it out to, say, 45 minutes or so. I definitely could do that. I could talk forever. Many of you know that, but I'll try to keep this as concise as possible, although there are some great concepts in the video. Absolutely really appreciate watching this. So we're going to start out with the first introduction of visual musicality. Now listen to the music. That's visual musicality. You can hear the not only the bell, but the drum beat that's at the at the underlying tone of the audio track. So a little bit of a mistake there at the beginning by one of the individuals. Now see here, again, visual musicality, the accents are on these driving beats that are coming forth. Now, I have to say, this is not a boom, 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 in your face type of well, my reference is disco. Today's music of the really, really heavy bass going through there. This is subtle. All right, so the music is balanced. It's not completely bass heavy, but you can still feel that intensity coming across. So what the team is doing here, they're building that intensity, working with the music to highlight each of those movements with the beat. Now here we have a counter. A counter beat, if you will, with the voice coming over. So you have that boom, boom of the bass, and maybe even some more drums, most likely. But then you have the voices coming in, so you have that multi-level audio track, and the voices are coming in with a different syncopation there. And you can see that, and I'll just back it up just a couple of seconds here. You can see that the voices are actually being represented in the hand and rifle movements, where the drum beat was previously represented. Now watch. There we go. That's a better representation of the voices there. Previously, it wasn't. Just for those few bars there, maybe 8 or so, possibly a few more counts. All right, the team already should be moving. So what you're doing here is you're waiting, and I don't know why you're waiting. So, and this happens actually a couple of times. Unfortunately, I didn't record the last time I critiqued all of this, but so what you've done here is you've edited your audio track quite skillfully so far, but your visual doesn't match the audio, in that you have this intense beginning, or let me move it over here for you on the camera. You have this intense beginning, and then right here you have a transition to another portion of the audio track that is a little more lighthearted, if we can say that, and but the team is just standing there at present arms. So, and I mean just standing there. You wait a few beats, and now you're starting to move. Why? Why are you waiting a few beats when the music transitioned from heavy then to light? And it was an immediate transition, but you didn't transition visually. So here we have, if you noticed here in the transition, the visual transition, which honestly it really should have started at the beginning of this next piece of music. With the transition, you had some people marching with their back to the audience in different places. I was actually watching right here. My eye was right there. So I was watching these people here transition from where they were to their current location. And what we had was just get there, pretty much. So a couple people turned their back and marched back, and then came around like this, or turned their back, came around, and then moved into place. But there was another, and I think it, and I'm not doing this to pick out and pick on somebody. I'm doing this to pick out somebody so that you can watch and see what I'm saying. So I believe it was this team member right here. I don't know if he turned his back, but as my eye went from this individual turning and marching back and then turning again, what I saw was he was marching back and looking like this to make sure that he lines up. Now, that's going to detract from the presence. So when we're on the drill team, we're acting. Now, obviously, we're not going to recite Shakespeare. That's not what I'm saying. My point is that we have a certain persona and we need to maintain that persona for a certain time frame. So if you maintain the persona throughout the entire performance, then that's what the team requires. That's what you're doing. That's the performance beginning and end. I'll move into the camera frame here. The performance beginning and end is when the persona needs to take place. Now, the persona can change. Excuse me. The persona can change, all right, within that framework of the beginning and the ending, but it doesn't need to stop. All right, so you have a certain persona, and then now the persona has stopped. You're not communicating with the audience in that you know where you're going, you know what you're doing, and you know how to get there. It's more of a, am I in line now? And you can do this if you watch the Air Force Honor Guard get into their long line. All of the team members get into their position, and then at one of the rifle smacks, they all turn their heads towards the center. So, you know, either way they're turning, it's still in the persona. It's just that in this case, it's a very strict military bearing persona that they're communicating. It's part of the acting, as I call it. So what you've done here, though, is you've dropped the persona completely, gotten into place. Now you're ready to perform again. But when you're in front of the audience, you're always performing. So technique here looks to be exactly the same throughout. So you have a constant beat, and so actually, if you listen to the music, you have different parts joining in. So at first it's the bass drum, and then you have other, I guess it might be all synthesized music, but I'll for the sake of argument, I'll just say other instruments. So you have other instruments joining in and stacking up on one another. That's a great time to start expanding and including more people into the performance. Now, whether you do the same thing over again with a certain repetition of what the first two performers did, fine. Or if you go into something different, but adding people in really helps communicate that or highlight the audio track here, and that would be perfect instead of having the two stop and then having the four on the outside continue what they're doing here now. Little bit of either a timing or technique issue with that short toss there, but still the technique here used is just outstanding. And another thing here, you're making certain movements at every every two, maybe every four beats, when the music is constantly going and going and going. Now, when you entered, it was much slower and intense, but here you're performing the same style, but the music has completely shifted into something else. So this is something that you want to consider, that I get it. You're being technically proficient, but you're being technically proficient at the cost of not representing the music as well as you could. All right, so I'm going to move forward to the next transition. Is this the... No, it isn't. All right, so here we have the group in the back and the group in the front. So the group in the front is performing well. Nice stop with the audio there. That was great. So again, we have this pause. You're not performing yet until a certain point in the music. Why is that? The music's going. Why aren't you performing? So there's audio happening. Lots of things could be going on with the whole team. So you have 3 different groups here. You have this group, you have this group in the very back, and then you have this group at the front. You just finished highlighting the group at the front. Now the shift goes to this group. And you stopped facing to the audience's right or stage left, so that you were, it was more of an indication of, okay, now it's time for this group over here, this group right here, to start their performance. That was a great indication. But there's audio going on, and you're not taking advantage of this audio until now. I like the non-standard rifle movement. It really works well. Yes, that really is great. Nice work there. It just came across beautifully. However, you have, let's call this a stage, okay? Now, we know that on a stage we can have the curtain closed. The curtain opens, and then everybody can, the whole audience, and usually the audience is kind of wrapped around. They're usually not square, but a lot of stages are wrapped a little bit, so you can have more of an audience. And I don't know if this is the situation here, but just try and understand the concept with me. So what you have here, by this group standing in the front and not performing, you have part of your curtain closed on stage, so that only the people who are over here can see what's going on the stage. They have to look around the curtain. Others can maybe see a little bit of what's going on because that curtain is partially closed. By them just standing there, they're blocking not only the vision, but they're also causing a visual confusion as to why another group is performing, but they're farther back. Now, if you had them move forward or change places, or them move forward and them move back, fine. That would be great to be able to highlight them. Or you have them move into the center, or something that would help indicate that this group is now performing. Watch them, and that would be a much more effective way to communicate with your audience than what you have now. This setup really it works at a certain level, but you have this group at the back not performing, and then this group at the front not performing. That doesn't make any sense. This is really cool. It really good. So you could have brought them forward at the beginning of the performance. All right, gonna skip ahead here because you transition. And this, with Michael Jackson, beat it. You could have included everybody, but you didn't have anything going on for that. The beginning of the next piece of music, and some non-standard rifle work. I think that works very well. Oh, that's right. The transition to the side camera. That means that I can. All right. So right here, I meant to. I want to cover this just a bit. All right, little bit of a technique issue there, maybe some timing, but look at the spacing here. Look at the alignment as well. Okay, but then look at the spacing over here. And look how from this team member, from the point to the point, it looks like there's a triangle here. And it looks like everybody is basically in the same line here. But then look from this point to this point, where's this person? Why is that individual there and not up front? See, we have 3 here, point, point. We have 3 here and a point and a point. But they're not all in line. So it's a little bit visually confusing here to see that. So, and then we get to transition to that other camera angle, which I actually like. This is great. It gives a little bit more depth to judging the performance, really. So we can see that there's a kind of a cascading type of effect. Very parochial transition here. With the coming out, facing movement, moving forward, facing movement. I would think that the level of precision, the level of performance that you could create a much more engaging transition here, and having the team start off with that rifle position right here, having the team start off that way works, but I would hope that you consider performing in your transitions. So far, what the team does is it goes to this circle, and maybe this line, whatever the positions you have. All right. And then it performs there and performs and performs. And then they all move into a giant diamond shape. And then you perform let's say it's a diamond shape. Then you perform in that diamond shape. And then you move into this shape, which is coming up in a little while, that straight, the diagonal line, and then the two with the right angle, and you perform there. But during your transitions, you're not performing. You're just moving to the next position to perform. When, just like I was saying, persona at the beginning to the persona at the end, you're performing from the beginning and performing to the end. So you're performing in your transitions, whether you think so or not. The audience is still watching you perform. So when you do this, when you're performing and then you stop performing so that you can transition to another position to where you can then begin performing, it just doesn't logically follow. Let's see, the term that logical sequencing. That's it. The logical sequencing in composition analysis. It doesn't really make sense to have that flow happen and then have it stop. So you build momentum as you perform, and then you stop the momentum to get into certain positions. See, you've come to this position. Now you have 4 members perform, and I like the highlight. I mean, this is fine here. You have that arc of the team members facing away with the 4 facing to the front, so that they're highlighted, and this is great. It works well. So, but if you use the start stop sparingly, it can work. But when you have start stop all going throughout the whole performance, then it just completely interrupts your flow of the horizontal flow of the performance. All right, so we're going to move along here. Oh, that's right. Oh, excuse me. And this is that transition. So the transition isn't working well here into this move. All right, we're going to go back, and so you have the flow of the movement, the vertical flow just for that movement is working as the team transitions over and around. All right, there it is. Okay, so let's watch here. Now you have the lead stop in the middle. You have it doesn't work well at all. So you have the break off here. The person in the lead, as they're coming around, could have marched all the way to the front of the line to create that nice long line. I don't know why you had them stop there, and then people in the middle still had several meters to go to make it to their position. That wasn't a logical flow of for the transition at all. It doesn't really make sense. And what the bad thing about this is that you can see it here again. The bad thing about this is that the people who are in the middle, especially the last couple, look at these giant steps that they're having. Even you had giant steps taken, and also. And sometimes this will work where you have certain people stop, and then more stop, and then more come up and stop, and more come up and stop. And sometimes that will work, but it doesn't work all the time. So there's times to use the trickle, the stop, if we can say that. And there's also times that you need to have everybody hit their mark exactly at the same time. So whether they're taking smaller steps or larger steps, whatever the case is, I don't know that this movement here worked as well as it could have. Excellent rifle work to highlight the music there. Could have included with that the sounded like strings, maybe even low brass, with that big deep dip there. Really could have created a nice body movement, and not even necessarily with this group who's performing, could have incorporated that dip. And have it a visual dip, move that right leg out and dip down and come back up. Could have highlighted that so well. So here, the transition of just marching with I'm holding my rifle here. Just transitioning with the rifle horizontal at the side, everybody just marching around. It's just another variation of marching at right shoulder and then transitioning to the next movement. Sorry, hit the microphone there. It perform to that next move here, and then also with. Did you mean to have the lines staggered with the different people in each of the lines? This line looks different from this line. Once you try to form a vertical line from the audience, it's totally different from a horizontal line to the audience. Horizontal, nobody can tell. All they look at is spacing. If you're out of alignment, it's probably not going to show all that much at all, if at all. But when you have vertical lines from the audience, it's completely different, and you have to make sure that you are hitting those lines exactly. All right, we're going to move on here. Move to this next transition. I like this. I really do. I think this works really well with the two lines coming in to angle in. But I really think that the middle could have done something completely different. The rifle angle, the kind of the high salute type of angle, having those two lines come in like this, really nice. It works well because you can count these as one group, but the middle group then we have the outside group and the middle group. The middle group, I really think, could have done something completely different to highlight that they are totally different. They're in a different position. They're in a different formation, rather than having them all the same. And now, see, you've highlighted them differently while the others went to order, then they start the performance. And again, now I'm going to go back to that theater with the stage. Now you have the right curtain closed, or the stage left curtain closed. So with this arc right here, I honestly thought that when I was talking in my last video, as the arcs made it through, I actually thought that you were going to have them. Hey, it was just an idea. I thought you were going to have them pass through the middle group of performers, because this now has blocked off part of your audience. Especially now everybody's facing inward, which then brings the focus inward, which is very good. But having the performers grouped in the middle, and then having the the two outer arcs with that block, it doesn't work. So see how that transition for that middle line didn't, and again, you're not performing as soon as the music happens. You're waiting. You can do some great editing with the music, with the audio track. But see, now here we have these last two people getting into position, but they're moving back and forth trying to get in alignment. And now you have stage right's curtain closed, because I understand that. I understand the writing concept. I understand using charting paper, or even just a blank sheet of paper, or the DrillMaster routine mapping tools. I understand that, this arc here, that arc here, this center, this right angle here, this right angle here, this long angled line here. It looks cool on paper. It doesn't translate well, though, visually, when you're not looking suspended over the team. You're at the front. And you have a perform to side, which I really appreciate. Instead of trying to perform to everybody around, you have this perform to side. So, but this is the stage right curtain being closed, and it doesn't work well. It doesn't communicate with your audience well at all. So this is the same music until the end, and this is working well. So I'm going to go from here. All right. Oh, yes, that's right. So I remember this. I really like this. Okay, so we'll go from here. So the kneeling didn't happen all at the same time. The arm movement really works well because the eye is always drawn to any movement. When everybody's standing still, whatever movement happens, everybody looks at it, no matter where it is. So if you're standing out there and you scratch your nose, that's movement. Everybody looks. Everybody sees you scratch your nose. That's why we have military bearing. All right, at least for a performance like this. So you've brought the arm out and done your thing here with the arm, but you're pointing to your left, and that means that the eye then is going to travel over to what you're pointing to. I don't know if you did that on purpose, but that means that those on the left then perform, and that's great. That really worked well. And the coming up from the kneeling, I think, really could have been something a little different. It was just a standard kneel down, get out of the way, and then stand up and start performing again. It really could have been integrated much better with even a rifle move on the way up. Now here, vertical lines from the audience, you've got to get them as perfect as possible. And even you have vertical lines in the lights. Now I don't know if you had any influence over the lights for your performance, but that would be great if you could incorporate that. So little timing issues here. But listen to the music. Bum, 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 bum. And what are the rifle movements? Move to here, 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 move to here. And okay, so me doing that was probably quite boring. I'm not telling you that your performance is boring. I'm telling you that you're not matching the music. You're doing the same movements no matter what music is coming on. Now, I don't mean that literally as in the exact same movements. Some are exact same movements. That's not a big deal. But you're using the same system of movements with make a movement here, wait 3 counts. Make a movement here, wait 3 counts. No matter what music is on. So you've chosen some interesting music to start out with. It was great. I'm not all that sold on that the second tune that you had. Then coming in with I guess it was Michael Jackson medley of different music. The mix that you had, that worked well, and now you're ending with a continuation of the previous the music that you had at the first. So and this works well. However, at the beginning there was a slower drive, but now it's more consistent drive. It's not that slow. It's every single beat is there, and you're still doing the same rifle type movements, the same systematic movements that you were doing at the beginning, and it doesn't represent the music really well at all. You could be much more effective with, instead of right shoulder going to the port position, bringing the rifle up, or moving from the port position, and then you bring the hand out, and then you do other things, but then bringing that rifle in, coming up to the right shoulder, dropping that hand away, instead of move, pause, move, pause, move, pause. It should be move, out, in, up, down, back, flip, whatever you're doing. It should be bang, 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 because that's what the music is calling for. So the mistakes here that the team members have made, and there's been a few here and there, mistakes happen, and the only thing that I'm going to talk about with the mistakes is that let me turn that down just a bit. The mistakes that happen are probably technique issues, and maybe a timing issue. So a technique issue is maybe somebody didn't put their hand exactly where it was supposed to be at exactly the right time and use the muscle techniques that you were taught to execute the spin here, or something else. So the technique issue, for the most part, techniques are just absolutely fantastic. But it comes out in a much more fluid performance when you have to go bang, 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 bang throughout the moves. And these are very small movements and you're staying in the same position too. You only have 4 people performing, really, and that's the 4 people at the heads of each of the squads. So I would suggest moving out and really building. Yeah, there you go. That's the end. So you stayed in this one block formation for well over a minute when you could have moved out the 2 lines, brought in the 2 lines, have a wedge and then a counter wedge, and really powerful types of diagrams and formations. And yet you just stayed here when it's just really great driving music and it's really building up that intensity, but you're not building up the intensity visually. So you had some rifle movement, but it was very contained. The black gloves I get, but I would experiment with white gloves, honestly. Unless the team has a specific color scheme, maybe you want a red stripe down the trouser leg, and then red gloves, or I'm just trying to come up with an example here. So white gloves might be a little more effective rather than black. Black hides, white exposes. So just like you have the white sling on the rifle, when you move up to the Liberty move, which is I'll not get my rifle out, but the rifle is upside down. You're holding it close to the barrel here, and the butt of the rifle is in the air. So you have that white sling facing forward, facing towards the audience. Any slight angle of the rifle, and it sticks out like a sore thumb. So that's why when you have the white sling on there, you have to make sure that it's exactly vertical when you catch it at that Liberty move. So, and I say Liberty because of the Statue of Liberty, how she holds the torch there. All right, and I hope this isn't. Well, it is. Sorry, 43 minutes long. See, I told you I could talk. And I so appreciate it. Thank you, Sancho Chen, for the request. I do appreciate this, and I look forward to the team now. I'm guessing that this thumb down here, the one dislike out of the 288 views and only 18 likes. What's up with that? Come on, 288 people should have thumbed up, or at least 287. So I appreciate the ability to critique the performance, but now what I want to do is I want to encourage you to take this information that I've provided. If you want to contact me and talk about this some more, awesome. I'm more than willing. But take the information that I've provided and now take the team's performance level up another notch, and then work at that, and then take it up another notch, and then just keep building and building and building over time. Changes overnight don't happen. It's just that consistent work. So anyway, I hope my comments have been helpful. Like I said, if you have any questions, then let me know. Thank you very much.